Problem 13 on our practice test asks us to factor x squared minus 9x minus 36. Notice this is a quadratic trinomial. The first thing we should do is check for any common factors between all three terms. There are none, so we can go on to using our box method. Our box method means that we want to create our box, and we're going to put everything we can from this trinomial on the inside of the box. We want to fill the box as much as possible. So as we draw our box, we always put the x squared in the top left, and we always put the last term in the bottom right. We don't know yet what's going to go in these two empty boxes, and so that leads us to our second step, which is to find two numbers that are going to multiply to negative 36 and add to negative 9. These two numbers will always multiply to the last term and add to the middle term. So we need to find these two numbers. I'm looking for factors of negative 36. I know because negative 9 is my middle term that when they add together to the negative 9, the bigger number has to be negative. So my first pair of numbers is 1 and negative 36. Of course, these two numbers don't add to negative 9, so they can't be right. My next pair is 2 and negative 18. Again, these two don't add to negative 9, so I need to keep going. 3 and negative 12 do add to 9. So I'm going to write these two numbers in my two boxes. I want to finish filling in the box. So the 3 goes in one box, the negative 12 goes in the other. And notice my middle term isn't just negative 9, it's negative 9x. So both of these numbers also need to have an x in the box. Now that our box is completely filled, we're ready to find the factors, the two factors, that will multiply to make this box happen. So remember, the way our multiplying box works is we have one factor on the top, one factor on the right, and we multiply the column times the row. So how do we get x squared? Well, we always get x squared by multiplying x times x. And this helps us to figure out the other two factors. I know that x had to multiply times something to give me 3x. Well, that had to have been a positive 3. And x also had to multiply times something to give me a negative 12x. Of course, that was a negative 12. So I have one factor that's x plus 3, and one factor that's x minus 12. I want to write these two factors in what we call our factored form. That's our form with the parentheses. So I'm going to write that first factor inside of parentheses, and then multiplying with it is the second factor, multiplying in parentheses. This is our final answer. Now that you've had a chance to see how we did problem 13, I want you to make sure to practice with this problem. I want you to factor x squared plus 5x minus 24. If you run into any problems as you're working through this, please make sure you ask your teacher for help. Pause the video here to write this problem down.